girl a chance to breathe. Alrighty. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order 7 p.m. September 20th. Pledge allegiance. Why do I sit down? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, attendance, appointment of alternates. Well, we have no alternate and the 4 of us are here, so we have a quorum. So that is where we are. Approval of agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there, all right, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Number 5, approval of minutes, Board of Finance regular meeting, August 16th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the Board of Finance regular meeting minutes from August 16th of 2023.
I'll second again.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion.
I can't even say force of habit. I haven't voted in like 4 years.
I know, that is true. That is true. Okay, public participation. Bang. Communication, I have none. Miss Amy?
None.
All righty. Monthly reports, town FY 22-23. Off we go.
Okay, so we ended up returning $560 something for it. It's page. A15, and it's $563,364.55, which is 98.7% spent. And the only encumbrances we had were $39,000, 35 was for road project, and the other 3,500 was for permit link for land use. I think I gave you revenue also. And the revenue was no real change. We're 1,179,000 over, which includes making up the whole $2,060,000 that we spent out of fund balance. So we originally budgeted 42 million, we brought in 45. That's 22-23. Does anybody have any questions? And in my transfers later, you'll see where I make all the accounts whole. If there was a overspend, I then move it from somewhere else within the department. That overspent, and I keep salary separate from non-salaries.
Any questions for Amy on that one? All right, so we are on to the FY 23-24.
We've collected 53% of our taxes. And I gave you both July and August report because they're not really cumulative. The front page only shows what she collected in July and what she collected in August. So I didn't want to not give you July. And you guys think we only collected $19,000 so far this year.
That would be bad.
The revenue reports are there. We still have $23 million more to collect. Our expenditures are here. And you'll notice in social services, our general assistance line, we upped it from 13,000 to 17,000, and it's all spent. That is one of the transfers I'm coming to ask you for later in our thing. So, altogether of a $44 million budget, we still have not spent 37 million of it. Which is page 8B21. And the other thing I have for you is capital projects. And that includes the allocation for this year that have been made. So we have a total of 7,477,000 currently. With 1.2 million still left in the community center. 1.8 million in roads. And 494 in the fire vehicle, which is the down payment that they're putting away for the truck that's coming eventually. And that would be all of the fiscal 23-24 reports. Anybody have any questions on those?
Were we supposed to be like moving on the fire truck because there was supposed to be some large increase or something?
We did, it's committed,
Yeah,
they're just having trouble getting it.
okay,
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be here now. Right, when we first did it, I think it was supposed to, 18 months was now, fall of. But we are still waiting for it, but they're putting away the money, so we're already making lease payments on it.
right.
But they're putting away the money so they can pay the down payment when the truck actually shows up. We're not gonna give them the down payment money
Well, yeah,
until the truck actually gets here.
yeah, okay,
So we are paying lease payments on it already though,
okay.
but it has been delayed. And that's just the fact for any vehicle, really. They're still having trouble getting vehicles of any sort.
Any questions for Amy? All right, 8C, Board of Ed FY 22-23 financials.
So, just kind of in addition to what the cover letter speaks to, just due to the time constraints that we were, kind of under for some year-end items. The FY 23 financials, you're gonna see just the general fund. I was not able to get the grants, food service and FRC, over in time for this meeting. I will say they are complete now. You guys will have those numbers at the next meeting. As far as this financial report, we still have not received our magnet tuition. I did go back and, we did book a receivable, so we could officially close out the books. Again, just due to the nature of things, I was unable to get that into this meeting. But you'll see the official end of year report, in the next meeting. I can report that our end of year number is, 38,948.55 for the general fund.
Positive.
Positive, not changing. I ran it today, I said, all right, that's it, it's officially that, and you guys will see that reflected in the next meeting.
Any questions for them? On C?
All right, now.
Okay.
Onward to 23-24.
Alright, and 24, it's somewhat similar. I want to make sure we at least got the general fund in. Same thing, you'll see grants, FRC food service at the next meeting. I can say, like, in a positive note, it looks like we're off to a really good start. All things considered, you know, I think we went through over 30 new hires. I think everything's looking, you know, pretty solid so far. We're making a few little minor corrections on like the payroll side of things. This whole week, we've been focusing on just making sure everything looks all right, so that way at the next report, you know, we won't have, you know, a ton of modifications or anything to make for you guys. So we'll have kind of a better picture of what's going on at the next meeting.
Just to add to that, Ryan, just to. Special ed, I'm anticipating that we would see changes based on, we had 2 students moved into district and out of district private placements. And I know that those tuitions aren't encumbered yet. So we would see changes for the next report, correct?
Yes, you would see it reflected.
So this was just a
Lower, right?
higher
That would go higher.
for our costs, yeah, because we would absorb.
Oh, so these aren't students that we were paying to have in.
No, these kids were coming from another town, they registered, we actually had 3 that were in the registration process, but one of them actually is not a resident. But the other 2 were our confirmed residents, so that would be a change.
So the money follows them from the town that they're coming from now?
So, yeah, so if they were placed in a private special ed school and the sending town was the one that put them, but then they moved. In this case, to East Windsor, we're then responsible for that placement. Certainly, we'll review that placement, see if we feel that it's appropriate, engage that family and see if we have an appropriate program in district. If we have really strong programming, But even that doesn't happen overnight. Best case scenario, typically, if we do have an appropriate program, we first observe the child. There's a process. Usually there's about a 3-month turnaround to them attending one of our programs, assuming that our program is appropriate based on their unique needs.
So the money doesn't follow. The only money that would
Yes.
come would be, that anything above that 4.5 times. Money.
Correct, so we would, in this case, in both these cases, we're so early in the school year, they would meet that threshold, so, you know what, 4.5 times, it's over. Over 100, it's right, like 105. Yeah, somewhere around 105, 110,000 approximately, anything over that. We would get 75% reimbursed, but we're on the hook for that first 110. So like if you had easy numbers to use, let's say it's 110 is the threshold, the student's program costs 210. We would get approximately 75,000 back because we get 75% of that additional 100 that exceeded the threshold, if that makes sense.
I know.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, may I ask one?
Absolutely.
Do you guys book your whole salary? Do you encumber your whole salaries at the outset of the year versus every other week?
So it gets updated every week, so like, say you're 100,000, that gets encumbered at the beginning of the year. And then you just pay the roll, it'll update with the payment of the encumbrance.
So yes, they 100% encumber their
We don't
salaries.
do that.
We do not.
That's not, is that the same for hourly employees?
Hourly is not, it's
Yeah,
just
so-
salary, yeah.
I can tell you at any point in time if you want to know what we got
Oh, I know,
opening.
I can look that up too.
All right, FY 22-23 transfer.
So this is the one I do every year. The sheet just says various accounts and see attached. But behind there is a spreadsheet that, you can check those numbers back to my 22-23 final report. Those would be the same columns, and that's anybody who needed money is, the minuses on the far right, and then where I'm getting it from within that department. So they're all within their own departments. And I have to do, so there's a couple places that have salary ones, so you'll see there's 2 lines for them. So, the salaries, the assessor's a good one. She's just the third group down. She has a full-time salary and an overtime, where the salary is covering the overtime, and then books and periodically is over, and that's being covered by dues and fees. So she has 2 different sections, even though it's all assessor. Because one piece is salary and one piece is other. And that would be the same for everybody else who has those kind of things. I think I have them. For treasurer, I think police has them. I don't know who else has them. I might just, oh no, Public Works has it. I think that might be it. No, Park and Rec. So I'm transferring a total of 356,540.91 between accounts.
We have to do this one at a time.
No.
No, you're gonna do 47.
Okay.
All right,
I'll make a motion for transfer of 47 for 2022-23 year for treasury. Transfer amount is 356,540.91. It goes from various line item various, the attachments to line item various, the attachment within, to stay within the budget and department transfers.
is there a second?
Second,
All right, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, onward. Oh, and that's her before I forget. Onward to 23-24. Is this ever gonna end?
So it's the social service.
So, yeah, so if you want, I can speak a little bit to that, what we're doing and why we're encumbering these costs. Some of it, there are some discussions that are happening, so I can't tell you everything, but the generalities are such that we have a number of folks that were not allowed to return to their homes because of not condemnation, but our orders prevented them from going back into their homes. As such, under the Federal Relocation Act, we're required to cover their costs until they're placed in a like kind accommodation. Now, there are some improvements that we're making to our process that will shorten that. But under federal law, we can't, it is what it is. So there is one instance in particular that probably is not covered by this transfer, is probably in last year's, that was an egregious amount that we're working with council to come to a settlement on with the representation from the parties that are currently staying in a hotel. It is, you know, there was a tree that fell on a house, they got condemned, there was a fire, they got condemned, there were 3 rooms associated with that. And there was another person who's no longer in town care, who was, well, there was a judicial action, so I'll leave it there.
So the answer is no. There is no.
No, not yet, no. And we might be able to strengthen the town's position while complying with the federal law, but federal law is what it is. And I've been the beneficiary now of 3 acts of Congress. I don't think there's going to be a 4th.
All right, so who would like to make a motion for number 12?
I'll make a motion to transfer the amount of $25,000 from contingency to general assistance to cover expenses for the housing fire.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion clearly passes. All right, onward to number 13.
I'll make a motion to transfer $3,992 from our non-negotiated wages to full-time salary for raises per our contracts approved by the Board of Selectmen on May 4th of 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Which one?
One of the staff members in my office was out of contract, and when we renegotiated her contract, we wanted to bring her in line with where the clerical contract was after that was recently ratified. She had been substantially below that, and this will bring her in line with where most grade 5 employees in the clerical union are.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Yeah, that's. All right, so on to number 9, Board of Selectmen updates and referrals.
Well, I don't think I need anything from you guys right now.
Nice.
So you have the updates to give us some good news with tomorrow?
So you want the
You
good
go.
news? I think you already know about this, but I'll share the information publicly. So we've been, for the last 5 months, we've been jumping through the hoops necessary with USDA to release the congressionally directed spending award for the community center. I got an unofficial sign off from them that we were good to post the bid about 2 weeks ago, and I got the official notification from their federal headquarters 2 days ago with the dollar amount in there. So the building committee is going to meet on Monday evening to review the bid, which has already been approved by USDA. So pending their approval, that project will be put out to bid sometime next week for a duration of time to be determined by the building committee. So sometime, but there is significant progress there, and it's very exciting to see that come together. I'll tell you, when we were going through the process of getting the funding released, which was a process. The feds were playing this game that I have described as yes and. Which is you provide them what they want and then they'd say yes, and then we need this, yes, and then we need that. And it was. I may have lost my patience a little bit during one of the meetings in May when I finally said, Amy was in the meeting, I think, when I said to the poor mid-level person. Just give us the list, just tell us everything you need at once and we'll give you everything, but just tell us the list, this one at a time thing is not working.
They just gave us the list,
They,
our very last meeting.
right, and it was a 5-page to-do list, and they started the meeting saying, you're already done with the first 2.5 pages of this, so we'll just start in the middle. Like, you could have given this to us, like, way at the beginning, but they also gave me the letter saying that the funding has been released, so that's water under the dam at this point. Over the dam, under the bridge, the water is someplace.
It moved.
Well, it's not in the basement.
There you go. Little beans. All right, now on to number 10, Board of Education updates and referrals.
Yes, start of school year has gone very well. As Ryan indicated, we had about 30 new teachers. We started the school year fully staffed with our certified staff. But I don't know if anyone's been paying attention with surrounding towns, but we feel very fortunate because that's not the case in many places. So we feel like that speaks to the desire for people wanting to work in our school system. We kicked off August 21st with convocation, which was highlighted by our teacher of the year, Michelle Wiley, who gave a tremendous speech and didn't leave many dry eyes following her speech for anyone who's had kids through the school system. She's been here for a number of years, outstanding teacher. Certainly, I had some remarks as well, pared down version of my speech, should be in the Village Voice. There's been a sense of optimism among our teachers, parents, families. I did attend the kindergarten and preschool orientations. Those went very well and were heavily attended. And then speaking to that, this is our first year offering full day preschool. And that program is going very well. We actually have a waiting list for all our preschool programs, which I think just speaks to the need within the community. Talented and Gifted is fully implemented at the middle school now. 6% of our middle school population has been identified. We made the change from soccer for middle school to cross country, which was a strategic move to increase participation. And I'm pleased to share that we have over 30 kids participating in grades 5 through 8 for cross country. Broadbrook School Band, we were able to strategically schedule the high school band teacher to start at Broadbrook School before school and offer band to our 4th grade students. We have 25 plus 4th graders signed up. We are also able to piggyback off our middle school transportation, so no additional cost. The middle school buses pick up the elementary band students, drop off middle school students, and still get the kids in time before school for the band lessons. Parent feedback has been outstanding. Again, at least 2 unsolicited parents reaching out to me a week over the last couple of weeks, thanking me personally for the band program. Although I'm not teaching it, I'm the most musically challenged person there is. Open houses, middle schools today, can't really report on it. I'm assuming it went well, but Broadbrook was heavily attended. High school, the feedback was very well. Right now, we have one more capital improvement tour. Appreciate Tom participating, and Amy and Jason, and obviously our board members. And those are going well as far as just having people visually see our facilities and bring awareness to that. Certainly that should piggyback off of the feasibility study currently in place. If anyone wants to see what's happening in news, we've been doing a really good job as far as Facebook publicizing all the good things. One of the things that come to light is we had several elementary girls do a lemonade stand, and they raised $250 and then donated to the Broadbrook School Library. So just many of the highlights that our kids are doing. And the last thing I had was Over the last 3 months, we've secured over 100,000 in competitive grants. For things that include a behavioral staff member, a course to support architectural design at our high school. So the grant will provide software, computers, and training for Scott Kaplan, if anyone knows who Scott Kaplan is, to teach the course next school year. We also received 10,000 to implement curriculum to support a pipeline to teaching through student leadership opportunities at the high school. Farm to school grant, for anyone that knows Mike Mosier, we have like the greenhouse in the middle of the courtyard in the high school, and growing vegetables that will then be served through our school lunches, and also dual teaching grant to support maybe low enrollment courses where we could then piggyback off of other schools that have low enrollment, and then the course could be taught remotely. So a lot of really positive things happening within the school district.
I saw your HVAC grants back open and closing December. Will we make that?
December 30th, so I believe it's December 31st, so that's certainly the goal.
Patrick and I have had conversations about that already, and the architecture and engineering study that we have worked with QA&M, they understand that that's the target date, and that should be a deliverable that's expected through their work. What we have only briefly talked about just yesterday, but haven't really gotten to yet, is kind of circling up to make sure we understand what all of our local requirements are. But in terms of the engineering work to make sure we meet that deadline, yeah, they know that is what our intention is.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have
No, I appreciate it.
a couple questions. 30 teachers, is that to replace teachers, or is that?
No, it's like a pipeline to encourage them to get into the teaching profession. So it's geared towards the high school students participating in activities. So hopefully the goal would be that they enroll like a teacher prep program following like the activities and gauging interest into the teaching profession.
No, he was asking about your 30 new teachers.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant the grant, sorry, that's my fault. Regarding, sorry, could you repeat it, Tom?
You said you had 30 new teachers.
Correct.
Is that replacement,
All
additionals, or?
all replacements. So one of the things that we've seen since the pandemic is certainly there are teacher shortages, but we've seen increased. So certainly that's a really high number pre-pandemic. So what we've seen is a higher teacher movement. Now we've looked closely at our numbers and they're all over the place. So there's no like specific trends. Like we had some that decided to be full-time parents after their maternity leave. We had some that relocated. We had some that honestly were looking for a change of scenery. So it's all across the map as far as like the reasons as far as leaving. We have some who left the profession altogether. So it really is all over the place. But I think that trend is going to continue. And what teachers are now doing too is just like everything else. They're bidding districts against each other. Which is strange because every school district has a collective bargaining contract that you don't really have too much flexibility around. But they are like being very competitive. It's a competitive job market. Fortunately, we hire people, but one of the differences is we're seeing less and less people that are beginning teachers. So it used to be we could count on that as being a savings to our budget.
No, that's what I'm at.
Yeah,
If you're adding 30 new teachers,
Yeah.
then you have. it.
Yeah, they're not 30 first year teachers, I can tell you that.
To kind of back up what Patrick was saying, we're seeing almost exactly the same reasons for people leaving the police department. Changing from a local to a federal agency, changing departments, leaving the profession, recruitment issues. There is a more global thing happening here than just schools or police. It's really the workforce is changing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of that, I mean, our accounts payable person left for another district that has similar responsibilities for 15 to 20,000 more than what we were paying, and wasn't something we were willing to match. But just to put in perspective and talking to that school district, they had no other like applicants.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I know it's early. Do you have any numbers for enrollment? Are we up, down, same?
We'll have those October, so October 1st is the first state reporting. So we still have kids both registering, coming in and withdrawing. Which unfortunately is not uncommon for us. But by October 1st is the first deadline, so we can actually include that into our packet for the October report, because that'll be the first official report.
And then lastly, I was a little disappointed after last month's meeting. You gave us your list of encumbrance and everything else, and we asked for a little backup. And you didn't really give us much of a backup on it. I was kind of hoping for a little more than what I got. I was thinking that you could at least tell me when you spent the money or how it was spent. You know, you got school, you got technology and equipment for instance. You didn't say what you spent it on. Just out of curiosity, I was a little disappointed and we didn't get much backup on that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say, I apologize, I was not at the July or August meeting. Certainly, I've been in communication with Ryan. I know Daryl was at one of the meetings as far as the assistant superintendent of instruction. I will say there was some confusion on our part as far as what was initially requested. Based on the feedback, my understanding is what we presented at the August meeting was not what you were looking for, although it was our impression that what we provided was, and then there was some additional requests, and so certainly acknowledge that. What I can say is, I mean, we're still in our first year as far as fully implementing new processes, procedures. Feel like we put a lot in place. But certainly we are fine tuning it. I can tell you, we've taken note as far as the request, and certainly we have discussed as far as knowing that next year at that time being prepared, that being an expectation and having that information available.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I will say that the middle school was well attended as well.
I'm glad to hear that.
Parking on the grass, I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
And that means it's well attended. We'll take it.
Alright, number 11, new business. Unfinished business? Nope. Depends on how you look at it. 13, board member comments. I definitely have them.
Okay.
Got mine, so.
You got any?
No, I'm glad I made it.
I'm glad you made it sure. What's going on a forum? All right, upcoming meeting date, October 18th. Hopefully more people will be here. And a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're bound. No, according to Jason, I have 2 more meetings next month, maybe in November.
Yeah, October, November, because
Not my bubble.
the terms don't change till after the third
When
Wednesday,
is our November meeting though?
The third one.
November 15th.
It's early.
We better put that.
And the
That might not
term,
work, no lie.
the
That's
term
date of my
changes
hip
on
replacement surgery is
November
the next
21st.
morning, so- Seriously, right now on the books, the next day is my hip replacement surgery, so I don't know if I will be here. I will let you know.
It's the next day.
Yeah, okay.
It's not the day before.